Hello and welcome to the channel. So today's episode we are going to be drawing a nice pretty graph in Python. So if you are like me, you probably learned in school that you can make graphs in a spreadsheet application like Microsoft Excel, but if you ever seen nice graphs, you will be able to tell that the ones that you can make in Excel are not really the prettiest ones. Well, it got much better during the years compared to when I was in school, but it's still not really the nicest thing you can come up with. So this is like not that bad, but still not really high tier graphs. The same goes with LibreOffice. I think LibreOffice is even a little more behind on graph prettiness than Excel is, but still can make some useful graphs, but no one really uses these for like real professional graphs. For example, in my case, when I was in college, when I was in grad school, and now at the place where I work, we use Origin Pro and its different versions to make very nice scientific graphs with scientific accuracy that you can actually use in publications. And this is a very expensive and proprietary software. So if you want to use this program, well, ask your employer to pay money for it and put it on their own computer. But maybe you don't want to put proprietary stuff on your own computer, and especially probably you don't want to pay for it. Luckily for us, if we just put in a little effort, we can make very nice graphs in Python actually. And today, the graph we are going to reproduce is this one. This is from the European Union, and I've seen this in the news a few days back, and this is a pretty graph if I've ever seen one. So it would score very high on the graph beauty pageant, if you know what I mean. Let's just not care about what exactly this data means. Let's just take a look at how this graph is constructed. So what we have here is a lot of European countries. So these are the member states of the European Union, just simplified by these two-letter abbreviations, because it is not really the focus. You don't want to put the long names of the countries here because it doesn't really matter. So you don't really want the important message that this graph is trying to express to you is not what is happening in each country, but it's trying to show you a trend. So you have two types of numbers, two numbers for each country. One is shown on the left side with this beautiful color gradient graph. So it's a bar graph. You can see that this data is ordered in like a diminishing order for these numbers on the left hand side, and we just have the corresponding numbers of the other data set for the right hand side, and based on the same type of color gradient, it is really nice at emphasizing, for example, the trend. So you can see that kind of the bluish greenish thing is corresponding to each other on the one side, and the yellow and red things correspond to each other on the other side. But basically you could say that, the color is kind of superfluous because the bar lengths already convey the same information, but the colors make it really easy to spot the outlier values, for example. So I think this is a very efficient graph at communicating exactly what is the kind of the important information, what is the less important information, while still have all the numbers and the country symbols here. So if someone wants to check whether the data is correct or not, they can find the exact numbers and can take a look. So you are not just relying on the bar heights, but also have the numeric values, which is nice. For the graphing, we are going to use the Matplotlib library, and you can find it the documentation on matplotlib.org, and there is a very nice reference on how to use it. You can find a lot of comments in the documentation. There is a very nice article for creating color maps, which we will need to use for our nice color gradients. And so I have already prepared the data in a Python file, and so I import the pandas library just because usually when you need to plot something, you either use pandas for the data or you might use NumPy or SciPy or something like that. And we import the pyplot module as PL from Matplotlib, and we also import this linear segmented color map functionality from the matplotlib.colors library there. And we already have all the raw data, and I make a table from this data using this pd.dataframe command, and I give the column titles using this column command, and we can just use the %run command in IPython. So I'm in IPython here, and this is going to be the graph.py. And if I run, and I can just ask it to print me the table, and you can see that we already loaded the same namespace. So let's go back here and let's start graphing. So first of all, what I wanted to do is I wanted to show just very simple, the most simple graphs you can do. So I will make a function for it. It's going to be plot2d, and we'll point to the data. We'll receive data to plot, and we will use the pl.rc command to set up the basic things here. So it's going to be font and size equals 10. So the default font of our graph will be size 10. And we can create a new figure using the fig equals something pl.figure. So figure is the command we are going to use. The figure pl.figure function will result in a figure in the fig variable. And what we can do is set the fig size as something. It's a tuple that's in inches. So if you use centimeters like a regular person, then you will have to divide everything by 2.454. So let's make a very small, nice graph here. And this is a tuple, and we also can give the DPI, we can make it like, I don't know, 300 dots per inch. And then we will have to add axes. So I will use the new axis will be on the figure.add. So we add new axis to the figure. Figure.add axis is the command. And we will have to give here, I don't know, let's make 0.2, 0.2, and 0.6, 0.6. So this is the relative coordinates of where the plot will be placed on the figure x and y, and also width and height. So we don't want this to take up the whole figure because we want the title and the axis title to fit somewhere. So we can use now that we have this axis stored in the axis variable here, we can just use the axis.set_title to set a title for it. So you can type in something that will represent your data set. And you can set a different font size here. Font size, let's make it 14, for example, and we need to add the plot, so we just plot the data, and you need to add the x coordinates. So let's choose one of the columns from our table. Yeah, I should have just given a shorter column name, but whatever. And the y coordinate. And we can also set up here using the third parameter color and a symbol. So this is going to be a black cross, and this will be of size 5. And then we can use the axis.setXlabel to set the label for the x axis, and you can also give a font size here. And let's copy this and set the y label, and this will be something. And then we can just use the pl.show command to show us anything that we were drawing here. And now let's use the run command, so %run, and this is called graph.py. And now I can call the plot2d with the table, and it will tell me that there is no property called font size. So I guess I missed out a T here and a T here. Okay, let's save again, and let's run and also plot, and the new window has appeared. So you can see that this is not really nice graph. So we could of course make it a little more pretty. Maybe we can just decrease the size even a little more. and to 5, and the position to 3, and maybe we don't like the black crosses, maybe you want blue, and you want round and maybe a little smaller. So this is how you can achieve that. And now run again and plot again, and you can see that now it's a little nicer, but it's still, nowhere near the efficiency of trying to explain our data, or trying to show the data that we have in the official graph that we are trying to copy. So you can see this is why they probably didn't just use a simple 2D plot. You could also add the country names on this plot, but it would just would look very crowded trying to fit all the country symbols around there. So let's do what they did and create a new function that will be called plot bar, because this is going to be a bar diagram. Plot bar data, and we can just steal these 2 lines, I guess. From there, what have I done? Yeah, okay, so we've stole these 2 lines over there. And I want this figure to be a little different. We're going to be 7.5 by 9 centimeters. And let's just keep the DPI at 300 for, maybe I can decrease it to 200 so it will fit on my screen. Why is it P? What have I done? It's 9. Okay, 9 and P, they're not really close to each other on the keyboard. Anyways, so we will create a new axis here for one of our data sets. So this is going to be the fig.add_axis, and we can just use kind of very simply the same type of setup we used previously, and we can also I guess just create, I need to add the data to this axis, which for that I will use the bar h command. So you can find the bar h command here on the axis documentation. Maybe I should increase the size here. So let's just try to find bar h. Yeah, bar h here. You can find bar h. This will be a horizontal bar plot for us. And bar h, we can use the x coordinate, or rather it's going to be y coordinate because it's the horizontal graph. And then the next one, the data, is the numerical data. The numerical, what is this? What the thing that contains our numerical data, and we can choose like a height for the bar. So there is default value, so you don't have to do it if you don't want to. That's nicer. And what else we can do? We can also just set a title, maybe based on our original graph that we are copying, and maybe we want to make it bold, so you can use the font weight parameter here, and then font size we don't need, because 10 is the kind of the official, like the default font for this graph, but we can just still kind of keep it here if we want to. And I guess this should be enough for now, and we can use the pl.show to see what have we done. So let's run this, and what did I name it? I named it plot bar. Yeah, plot bar and table, and let's see the result. Okay, so what we've got is kind of an ugly graph here, but it's, good for a start. You can see that size is not really optimal, so we can make a larger, a taller graph, and well, we will have to make it much narrower to be able to fit two of these on here, and well, we don't need the axis labels down there, and well, these ones look very ugly. The country names look very ugly here, so of course our job is far from over here, but we can do the following. So we could just easily invert the axis, so we can use so you can remember that this variable is coming from the axis, so this represents the axis, which the axis is just basically the graph on the figure. So this is represents the one figure on the graph. And what can we do is we can invert the underscore, and this is going to be invert x-axis, and this is going to be just very what have I done here? Save it, and well, now it starts from the right hand side, and the bars grow on this side, but we also, you can see that this graph should start with the big numbers and decrease towards the small numbers. So we can also invert this graph on the y-axis too. And actually, we also don't want to see the borders around. We don't want to see the axis marks on the bottom. So for that, there is an option we can use, which is, I think it's called set axis off. So it's wax dot set underscore axis underscore off. And I always forget to press escape here. So let's run and plot again. And now you can see our plot only contains the graph itself. So let's try to add the numbers on the left hand side and the country signs on the right hand side. And for that, well, we have to add the bar names, I think, with a different. So first of all, we need to save this bar h into a new variable. So let's just get here a new variable and add the axis here, and then we can what can we do with this? We can use so for this is going to be back to the axis variable, and we use the bar underscore label here, and there we have to add. So this is a little complicated. So first of all, we add the bar label to the the graph itself, but we have to get this object that contains the bar to be able to use that. And we can add the padding here. Padding equals -9. That's what I have in my cheat sheet over there. So that should work somehow. Yeah, so we can see we get the numbers on the left hand side, but these are very big numbers. So maybe we want to decrease the default font size here to, I don't know, much smaller. Let's say 6. And once we have that graph, you can see, well, much better. The numbers are better. Well, we will have a bigger graph. So let's just make the graph bigger, and then let's see if this number size is going to work well with that. So we can format our axis. So I actually don't need that much space here. So maybe I'll just, well, the space is not really the issue for now. What is the issue is the size. So I know it's like around, let's make it 4, and let's make this one, it can be much bigger. So this can be 9. And now that we did that, well, it's almost good. You can see that the size of the numbers is quite nice, but what the hell happened to the top of the graph over there? So I will have to be a little more careful with this. So let's just put everything back in smack them back to their place, I guess, to 0, 0. We don't need all this. Yeah, you can see now it's much better. So our problem now is the left hand side. We don't really see those numbers over there. So for that, let's just make it a tiny bit over there, and we can, yeah, you can see now numbers are quite nicely there. Maybe the space is a little too big, but we will take care of that a little later. Now let's try to add the country names, which we can add using a, we just have to, so because we turned off the axis, we'll have to add them there manually, and we will, for that we will use just a simple for cycle, the number and the label we want to put there will be done using the enumerate function, or the enumerate keyword here, and we will make a list from the data set country column. We enumerate this list, so we got a number and a label, and we can use the annotate function to put the label there, and we will need the xy coordinates, and there will be a tuple which will be 0 and num, because we place it at the 0 point, and the num, so the num is the place of the specific country in the table, and there will be its coordinate, its y coordinate on this vertical bar graph, and the 0 is basically where 0 should be, but we can also use this text chords function to say that we want to offset this with points, so offset points, and then we also can add the xy text, which will be the real offset, and that's going to be 11 and minus 3. I think that's going to be nice, probably, but if this is an offset, we will have to optimize that later, and HA is going to be horizontal alignment, and we set that to center. Let's see what did we do to our graph, and voila, it worked. So now we kind of made our left-hand side of the graph nicely. We only need some text below our title, but we can add that later. That's not that important. So let's add our second graph here. Maybe I'll get rid of this first. So what we need to do is we need another axis, and that will be for the other axis will be, of course, our other graph. So I will just name the variable aptly based on what that data set is going to represent. So add underscore axis, of course, and this will be, so this one is going to be, I guess we need to put this somewhere a little, you cannot put it smack in the middle because we already have the country names in the middle. And then, what else? 0, that sounds nice, and let's make it the same width and the same height as the other one. And this will also be a bar diagram, and we also have to have the, the title, and everything else, so we can just copy all these 6 lines from there and just put it over here and just, rename them. And I guess, yeah, probably I should know Vim a little better than this. But anyways, so of course this is going to be the other data set. So that's going to have to be named after that. And Same with the title. And if we copied everything right and changed everything right, no, there is some issue. We did not specify the key properly, and that's because we are missing an S here. Alright, let's take a look. Now, okay, what is going on here? So, we have the graph on the wrong position here, I would say. We totally made an oopsie-doopsie here. Because because we didn't use the right axis here. So I need to use this axis, the new axis, to add the new bar graph, of course. And now, we made a mistake here by inverting this axis. We don't need to invert this axis, actually. We need to put it on the other side. And that is the x-axis, so I don't need to invert the x-axis. And I guess and here I also made an oopsie-doopsie, because we need to use the appropriate variable containing the bar. What? I want to copy this word, sorry, and put it in here. So now it should put the proper numbers there. Yeah, of course we need a different offset, but it's almost good, as you can see. Well, except a few minor issues, but I mean, what offset should be used? We offset points. I guess the 11 is not good, so we need, let's just change the 11 to 0, and that would, I will have to, yeah, that was not the issue. I guess we need a positive number here, because we had a negative number on there. Let me just think about it a little. Oh, wow. This is, I totally missed something. This is not what okay, so I modified the thing that actually puts on the country names, not the one that actually puts on the numbers, because that is the bar label that labels the bars with the actual number on top of the bar, and this annotate is putting, okay. So this is, of course, it's not 9. It's going to be some positive number like 1. So now, okay, now the numbers are in a perfect position. I would kind of I would say that our left-hand side graph is like even in the right position. So the numbers are are looking nice, and the left-hand side graph is that we need to push to the left a bit, and then everything will be right. So maybe we could just make it 0 and call it a day. Oh, 0 is not good enough, because now, of course, 0 means that the edge of the graph would be off there. So let's, what am I doing? Let's go back to here. So it's not going to be 0. It's going to be, I don't know, 0.2. No, 0.2, no. We need 0.0 something, because 0.1 was already too much. So we could say like 0.05 and try again. And this looks quite nice, actually. So this looks nicer than I expected. The numbers are kind of, because we only have 2-digit numbers here and 3-digit numbers here, so even if we use the same size, the offset will be not perfect. I even would say that the distances are also nice. So we should make sure that this 93 bar is exactly the same length as the 325 bar. And for that, what I would do is just set the axis limits. And for that, we can use the, so this is going to, we need to use the same variable that contains the axis, and we can just use what? The set underscore xlim, and this will be 0 and 93 for here, because we want these bars to be from 0 and 93. And we can add the same for our other axis here, set underscore xlim, and this will be 0 to 325, which is the biggest number on that axis. So now that we have that, okay, now you can see that now our graph's a little too big. So the last number is off the charts here. This is what off the charts mean, actually. It's like the too big and it's not on the chart, but it's never a problem of the number, it's a problem with the chart. So we can make this chart a little smaller. So 36 should do 36, and so we want to make sure that it's like, maybe 36 is even too small, but we will see. So we can just put this one, yeah, let's just see. I mean, alright, it's okay, now the problem is that we are not really in the middle with these country names. So we will have to adjust. And actually we can make it bigger. So we still have a lot of space over there. So let's just make it 39, and so it's 39 and it's 55. Maybe I can make it like 6. And voila. Almost perfect. I guess it is as perfect as it gets. Maybe we could just move this even a tad bit more closer to the middle and then just put these letters a little to the other side. So can we do that? Let me just change it to 07, and maybe this is where my letters are, so maybe I want this to be only 10. And maybe we will get a nice, yeah, I mean, I think it's like almost like a full character that's missing here. So we almost reproduced the graph, but the most difficult part is ahead of us, which is the colors. So first of all, if there is one issue with the original graph that I have, is that this green is just too bright. I mean, you want to make this green more darker. So what I did, I actually just went into some drawing application and got this color, this blue color, got this green color, but made it darker, got the exact same yellow color and the exact same red color. So I got these 4 color points for my own graph, and I will just make a colors array here. And I think I should not type it in. I can probably just copy and paste this whole thing over there if Vim lets me. And yes, it let me. I just need to reorganize these brackets here. Wow. I'm really not good at Vim. You can see I'm trying, but I'm not that good. Okay, so we have the colors, and we also have to create a color list. But so the color lists, you can use these 4 colors, but you can only map it to a number from 0 to 1. So from 0 to 1 you can map it, but I need to kind of map it to this data that is not from 0 to 1. So what I'm going to do is I'll get the column as a parameter, and I will return the following. The column minus column dot min divided by column dot max minus column dot min. And so this will normalize the column to be between 0 and 1. And what we can do is we can, I guess, create a color list, and then, so we need to create the color map. So where do I create the color map? I will need the colors at the bar, for the bar H here. So maybe I will just add the color map for this axis and LSC. So I imported the linear something color space from the Matplotlib, so that's why I'm using the LSC. You can scroll up here. Yeah, linear segmented color map. LSC dot from list, and we give a name for it, so we need to give a name for our color list, and then I will just list it. What am I doing? So I am making yeah, it's already a list, so colors. I'm just adding the colors here, and now I have the color map. Now I have to map what I need to map the color map to my real colors. So that's going to be color map, and we can just give it parameters like, and this is going to be 1 minus mapper and data and the correct column of our data. So we just give this column to that mapper function, and this will create color. And here we use the 1 minus because I guess the small numbers will be these and the big numbers will be these colors. So this is a red color, this is a bluish color. So we want the small numbers to be the latest one, so that's why we do the 1 minus. And now we can add the color. So make it color equals the color, the map color, and I just need to make it consistent here. So let's just check if I made any mistakes. Yes, I did. What happened there? Oh, I did not close a parenthesis over there. That's a problem. Alright, so you can see now that it really worked, so it made sense to change, but you can see that like this is red and this is blue, and all of this is kind of bluish green, because you can see that the numbers, there are a lot of numbers over 80 and there are not many numbers around this area. So the linear mapping between 29 and 93 resulted in that only these very small numbers are red, which we don't really have anything of. And the same is true, a lot of things are like this bluish green over here. And we can salvage that by using kind of a trick here. So instead of just using this, when we make the colors, we don't just add the colors here, but we also add something else. So let me close this parenthesis this time. So we add another list here, and this list will show us where the point. So the last, it has to have the same amount of numbers as the color list, and the last one has to be 1, and the first one has to be 0. And where do we put the between them? So I just want to put the 0.3 because we have like let's jump a little bigger, and then 0.37 will be the next one. So let me see how that happens. What happens now? Oh, it doesn't work because you can't just do this. You have to do the trick. which is you have to zip these together and then make a list of this zip. So list and zip are all basic Python commands here. So zip will just pair every element from this array with every element of the color array. So this color array and will be mapped to these numbers, and then the list will just make a list of all these. So that should work. Unmeshed parentheses again. That's my... Okay, so now I added too much. Last time I did not have a closing parenthesis. This time I had too much. Now this worked, and look at this. So what happened is now we have much more of the yellow ones, and this red to orange transition is a little lower, and you can see that the green ones start to appear only here. Much nicer than previously. And so we have to do the same thing from the right hand side. And so for that we need to do something very similar. So let me just I guess we need to copy these two lines over here, and we will rename them. And we will use the other data, not this one, and also the other color map. So now I color map all these things, and I will probably need a different... yeah, I did not add something. I did not add the colors here. So colors equals and the color list. So what actually, I don't need the 1 minus here. So what actually this does, if I did not explain it properly, so this one, the LSC from list, makes a color, like a continuous color list from 0 to 1. And then here, this will just map the color to every data point we have. So this data point will be normalized to 0 to 1, and each data will be exchanged to the color that corresponds to that. And so here we can add them as the color to the graph. So rectangle has no property colors. What? Oh, it's not colors, it's color. I am sorry. Now look at this. It's almost as nice as the original one. We will have to have like a little different mapping because these are like different numbers over there, and I just have the optimal mapping already figured out. So I will just tell you that this will be 0, 0.1 and 0.15, because in this case we have a lot of small numbers and not that many big numbers, so we want this like the 0 to 0. So this first, I don't know, 1/6 maybe contain all these 3 colors, and then just the bigger ones, like there are not that many big numbers. So yeah, we can see like these middle numbers became yellow now, and all these little small numbers are between the blue and the green ones, and you can see this outlier green over here, or this, this outlier orange here, and we almost reproduced the perfectly what we had. So I guess you can go work to the EU now, making graphs like this. What we only miss is this little extra information over here that we have to add, and unfortunately Matplotlib cannot add like a subtitle, so you have to make that manually. Look at this, almost the same. Our graph is actually better than the official one. Look at this. I think our colors are much better. So you can see that, just compare this. I think our colors are actually a little better. This green is much better visible than this green, especially this. This is much better. I am very, very proud of ourselves here. Okay, so let's finish this up very quickly and add our subtitles there. And where is my title? So for this title, I can add my subtitle with the following command. This is going to be .text, and we have to give like an x coordinate, and I'm going to just 162.5 is the x coordinate because we want it to be smack in the middle. So this is the half of the biggest number, so half of the limit of our, this is limit is 325, so this is the half of that will be where we put it, and we will also have a y coordinate that's 1.5, so it's going to be like a 1 row and a half above the first line of the graph, and then we can add s equals, and then the text you want to add. And then you can add font size and add horizontal alignment to be center. And we can add almost the same thing to our other axis here. And of course we need to change the x coordinate, because the half of this is going to be what, 46.5. Oh, what have I done? 46.5, and oops, I should have an equal sign here. And then we need to change the text, of course, to the other text we need to here, and that is let's save this and let's run, no errors, plot it, and come on, European Union, employ me to make graphs for you. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't this, oh my. So from now on, you should be making your graphs in Python. Wow, I was as surprised as you are now when I first managed to make it. And maybe, maybe these letters could be a little more to the left, but just by a very, very little. I am not 100%, satisfied with that. So let's just make it 9.5. I mean, is it like the -3 making it a little weird? I can still, if I make it -5, we can always make our graph just a little more perfect. Oh no, I moved it in the wrong direction, I guess. Maybe I just need it to be -1. Come on. No, -1 is not good. Okay. So this is going to be -2, I guess. Come on, be prettier. Yeah, I guess -2 makes, or does it? I don't know. I don't care. This is as good as it gets. We can make as good graphs as the European Union in Python. And it only took for me 3 hours to figure all this out. And 1 hour to explain it to you. But come on. Didn't it worth it? And just read the Matplotlib docs. I mean, this is great. So you can find all the different type of axes here, all the different type of graphs like pie chart, and you can read all the different functions. it can, be used for, and you can find all these nice examples, how to put numbers and labels on it. Really great tool, Matplotlib, very powerful. I like it a lot. So thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, share with your friends so everyone will be able to make graphs better than the European Union in Python. And subscribe for more content in the future, and I will see you in the next one. And leave a comment down if you have anything to say, or if you want me to make a graph for you, pay me. Yeah, I have a Patreon. I made a Patreon, so you can, if you want, you can find my Patreon and pay me, and I can make you nice graphs if you need some data to be presented somewhere. Alright, that's gonna be it. See you next time. Bye bye. End of recording.